Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to our Huawei Student Developers event. My name is Hamza Al-Qadmiri and I'm a computer engineering student. I will be your host this evening. We're incredibly excited to be hosting our event tonight because we've got some exciting things to share with you. So let's crack starting on. Firstly, I would like to remind you first that this event will be recorded. So let's start by giving a short introduction to the program. The Huawei Student Developer event is a global program that open to undergraduate and postgraduate students with an interest in growing as a developer. It offers students the opportunity to expand their scope of knowledge in a dynamic peer-to-peer learning. Through the enriching training courses and activities. Today, our speaker is Huawei Developer Technical Support Engineer, Adrian. We are going to converse in the topic of AR as well as live demo of Huawei mobile services at Huawei. And a Huawei developer, student developer is a mobile-friendly AR engine that can do all sorts of cool things, from adding virtual objects to the camera feed and extracting faces and the body features and overlapping them to the subjects. Before I hand over to Adrian, if you have any questions, please write them to the comment box and I will try to answer all of them. And let me hand over to Adrian now, and I hope all of you enjoy this evening.
Okay, let's get starting augmenting our reality with the Huawei AR Engine. I will quickly share my presentation. I hope everyone is able to see it now.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Perfect. Let's get started then. So who is this guy? Is it the machine or is it the human? So Adrian is the guy to the right. I'm a developer relations engineer at Huawei since 2 years now. And my background is software engineering with focus on Android. Here are my contact details on LinkedIn and GitHub. I will show them again towards the end. So if you're interested, you can scan them there and we can keep in touch. So what are we gonna talk about today in part one? We are gonna look at what is augmented reality. I guess each one of you has an understanding of that, but let's do a quick intro of that to get on the same page and also see how it works under the hood. Then I'm going to do a short demo of the Huawei AR Engine. By the way, HMS stands for Huawei Mobile Services. So the AR Engine is Huawei's dedicated mobile augmented reality SDK. And in part three, we are going to recap quickly what you just saw during the demo and take a look at the main features of the AR Engine. Then you can ask questions and I will try to answer them. But if you feel at any point that you have a question and you just want to ask it, please do it in the chat. And then we're going to look over those questions in the chat during the epilogue. And after this trip into the AR world, Chris is going to do for you a introduction into the Huawei Developer Forum and our Discord channel. All right, so what is augmented reality? I guess we all know what it is, right? But usually when I don't know how to put it into words, I tend to go to Wikipedia and look for answers there. So Wikipedia will tell us that basically AR is this blending of digital and real world, right? It's the possibility to add digital content on top of the real world content. We tend to think in terms of visual only, but AR is basically can deal with digital content across different human senses, right? You could have sound, you could have smell, but indeed, most of the time we are talking about the visual part. Very important is to have a real time interaction with this digital world. It has to be to follow the real world instantly with no delay, and users need to be able to interact with this blending of the two worlds in a real-time fashion. How is it different than virtual reality, right? So augmented reality basically changes your perception of the real world with extra digital content, whereas virtual reality is a full, complete simulation. And I would say, because AR has to adapt to the real world, I would say AR is a much greater technical challenge than VR. And we are going to look at that in the next slides. So basically, if you try to go online and see how AR can be used in a practical manner, you'll get all sorts of articles, but what you read in there is mostly sci-fi, if you ask me. The technology is not fully mature. There are lots of advancements being made as we speak. So that's why I think it's maybe more useful to look at some use cases that you can even try by yourself, right? And you can see AR in action. And as this comic suggests, I think you're all familiar with the Pokemon mania that was a couple of years ago, where everybody was looking for Pokemons in the park outside, right? So Pokemon Go is a great game to try. I would mention here Ingress as well, and Nightfall. So basically, you can have these medieval fights happening on top of your table, right, in your living room. So this is one domain where AR excels, and it's gonna keep doing it better and better. Games. Let's look at other domains where there are cool use cases. For instance, navigation, right? So what you can see here is Google Maps indoor navigation guiding you in the Zurich airport from the upper deck to the underground where you can catch a train to the city. So you see this overlapped digital content, very intuitive to follow, and it's telling you exactly where you need to go. It's very nice to use it. What about home decor, right? I think you are most familiar with the IKEA app. This one is called House. It is similar to the IKEA app. So in this case, it allows you to try out this tile model in your kitchen, right? So what you can do is to measure the size of your floor. You're gonna see during the demo that it's actually very accurate using AR. Then you can try to put this tile, see how it looks like. You can move your phone around and see how this model blends into your kitchen, and decide if you want to buy it or not. Very practical. And last example is I had lots of fun with this, and to create these slides, I had fun again with it. And I also prepared for Halloween using the Masquerade app, which allows you to face swap, to replace your face with a different one in real time. So everything happens in real time and is very, very accurate. Sadly, Facebook discontinued the app, maybe because it's some sort of a competition to Instagram face swap or other functions like that. We also have, in the Huawei world, we also have something similar in the photo app, and you're going to see it during the demo. All right, but how is this possible? How does it work under the hood? Basically, AR is using this process called simultaneous localization and mapping. It's some sort of a chicken and egg problem, because you have to understand the world around you and build a map of that, while at the same time keeping track of the observer's location in this world, right? And one example I can think of immediately, it's from Prometheus, from this movie. If you remember, when they send out this flying drones to scan a bunch of underground tunnels and caves, and they go around and they just scan everything around them, and they build a map of this whole universe. So something similar like that in a sci-fi manner. And to build this world and understand the position, it basically uses 3 different sources of information. The main one, which is the most important, is the visual information, right? So now we're moving towards the mobile world. Let's say we have a mobile device, right? A mobile phone. So by looking at frames that come from the phone's camera, it in a first stage, it will detect points of interest using computer vision. It's called feature detection. So it will look at corners, which are sudden changes in the shape of something in the image, looking at blobs, which are groups of different colors or luminosity or things like that. Edge detection, like looking at curves, edges, and so on, and other feature detection mechanisms. So it basically tries to identify what's interesting in that image, and then it follows the movement of these interest points from one frame to the other, right? For instance, in this example here, the phone was just moved to the right. With green, you can see, so green and red are the trails of the movement of the interesting points in this image. Well, interesting, it's not necessarily interesting to us, right? It's like those features which can be tracked, and by tracking them, the engine can understand their position in space, right? And it's able to build a real-world coordinate system. So getting back to the image, red means that, you know, that feature was not available for such a long time. The green ones mean actually the opposite, that that feature was available for more time. I'm sorry, could you mute your microphone, please? Thanks. So basically, we're trying to follow those feature points which are present for a longer time. There are two challenges with that, especially when the device is moving. There are not enough feature points to follow, and this is mostly because there is not enough light. So as you know, a camera needs light to understand, to be able to capture photos. And when there is not enough light, then it needs a longer time to observe that light and understand what it's looking at, right? So sometimes it's not possible to have enough light, and therefore it's a challenge to follow these feature points. The other challenge is that if you don't move the device around too much, especially translating it left to right, up and down, or rotating it, then because there is no movement, these feature points cannot be followed. So the engine is not able to understand the 3D world, right? So to mitigate these two challenges, basically to improve the visual part, there are two additional sources of information. And the first one will try to solve the problem with not enough light. Inertial measurements. So there is a special hardware device in every phone. It's called an inertial measurement unit. Basically, it's consisted of an accelerometer and gyroscope for each one of the 3D axes, right? And this device, it's able to detect and understand the movement of the device. And you have your own inertial measurement unit. It's called the vestibular system. It's this sea-like creature shape inside your ear. It also has three different liquid-filled tubes. So basically, each one of them responsible for one of the 3D axes. Well, it's not necessarily quite exactly like that, but we can, for simplicity, we could say it is like that. So, for instance, if you move around and you look at the world, right, you understand the world around you, and then just try to close your eyes, but continue the same movement, right? Then, even if you don't see anymore, your brain is able to understand your position in that world using this fantastic system, right? And in the same way, the inertial measurement unit is helping the camera to have a proper understanding of the real world. It's called visual inertial odometry. So we don't use just the visual information, we use also the inertial one. And they work together like 100% of the time. But what do we do with the other problem? If there is not enough movement, then there are special cameras that use this test of flight principle. Basically, they send an infrared signal, so we cannot see it. They send this signal like hundreds of times per second. This signal goes out and bounces off a surface and returns to the sensor. So the sensor is able to measure, the distance to this obstacle that was encountered. For instance, I'm gonna use in the demo later, I'm gonna use a P40 Pro. Is a very capable device from Huawei, still relevant. And this device uses a 3D depth sensing camera, and it's that one over there. The dedicated 3D cameras are especially useful when getting a very precise estimate for the depth, how deep it is to the obstacles and to the things around you. And they are very useful when you do face detection, right? Because when you move your face, then this depth camera is doing most of the effort. What are the current popular mobile AR engines? Apple has the AR Kit, Google the AR Core, Vuforia is very popular as well. And today we are gonna take a look at the Huawei AR Engine. All right, so demo time. I will quickly share my my mobile screen, my mobile phone screen. Let me find it here. Okay. All right, so you guys should see it now, like what looks to be a typical Android launch, right? This is my P40 Pro that I'm going to use for the demo. Okay, so let's quickly take a look at. By the way, I'm going to turn on another light, and let's quickly take a look at how the AR engine sees the world around us, right? So. No, not this one. I'm really sorry. Is the environment mesh that I wanted to show you. Okay, so what you see here, like, is the full collection of points in the 3D space, the red dots. And as you can see in the corner right here, there are points on this side, so it means there is something there, an obstacle. And then on the floor, you can see they change direction, and then in this plane as well. Then if we go to more difficult shapes, the engine tries to identify the features, and the points are following these contours. But of course, they are struggling with complicated surfaces. And maybe you're curious, what is this green thing? This is just a texture applied in this demo. But of course, if you have the environment mesh, you could just change this texture and apply, for instance, here, like inside of a cave or something like that. So you can do things like that. By the way, this is the official AR demo. I'm going to post a link towards the end where you can check out the source code and see how it works under the hood as well, and compile it and run it on your device if you want to do that. But so the AR engine understands the world around us, but it's also able to tell us what it contains. And I'm going to switch to this other part of the demo. It detects plane surfaces. So in this case, knows that there is a surface over here and another one over there. And it has also semantics, so knows that this one is a wall. If we look here, this is a floor. And this is most of the time a door, but it seems, because it's demo time, it tries to say it's just a wall, right? Of course, other, and then here, oh, this is a table, very nice. It's actually a stand-up desk, but yeah, it's a table. So now the question is, okay, I have a good, let's say I have a perception of the real world, but am I able to add 3D content in it? Of course. This, it's most of the time is achieved by what is called a hit test. So I'm going to tap on the screen in the center of the screen, and as you can see, a 3D object was placed at the intersection of my tap with the first surface that was encountered. This is called a hit test. And now if you look at this object, is fully integrated in the world. You see, once I move around it, it stays there. It follows the camera movement. It's like it's part of the real world. And what I can do additionally is take it from here and just place it, for instance, on the wall, or on this part right here, or maybe put it right here next to me on the table. Okay. And now what happens if I move away from this, right? Is it still there? Yes, it is. And I'm going to show you another cool thing, because the AR engine, I'm going to place a new object here. The AR engine can also estimate different types of light. For instance, I'm going to turn the light off using this switch on the wall. Thanks for AR engine for telling me. And as you can see, the light was correctly detected and applied to the 3D object. So this is another feature that AR can do for you, a light estimation. Now let's move to, okay, so we detected surfaces, but AR engine is also able to detect objects, or we call them targets. So as you can see here, it detected a rectangle and it also measured it. And I would say it's quite accurate. I have a ruler here. We can check it out. It's 10 by 10. Yeah, 10 by 10, 11, it varies. Also a round shape with a radius. And I also have here a thing which should be identified, yes, as a rectangle. But because I mentioned measurements, I want to show you something quite cool and quite precise. I'm going to exit the demo for a short moment and launch this AR Measure app that comes on all our Huawei devices. And here, if you can see, so I put the ruler down, you can measure, for instance, I'll try to measure from here, and yeah, 10, 20, I think I started a bit later. That's why it has a small error there. But this measurement is being kept correct no matter what you do, rotating your phone, going out or in. It's pretty accurate. So I think this is how IKEA does it, and how you can test your tiles inside your house. Okay, let me go back to the demo. What other features AR has? For instance, it's called augmented image. Basically, you tell the AR engine which images you're interested in for tracking. So you want the AR engine to recognize a specific image. In this demo, this is my Android Studio, so this is the official demo, and we use as an example one image, right? But you can add any image you want or any list of images. So the image is opened in the previewer. I'm going to move my phone to it. So you can see the engine recognized the predefined image, and it's able to also apply to detect the bounds of the image. And tech park is just a label we apply on top of it. So this is image recognition inside the AR engine. Next, I would like to show you the body tracking features, which I think sets the Huawei AR engine apart from the other ones. There are some pretty cool features here. So first of all, there is this the skeleton, the human skeleton detection. But I was thinking, how can I demo this? Because I have to be in two places at the same time, right? So what I will do instead is show you a guy that's dancing and how the AR engine tracks his movements. So already you can see the 15 skeleton points supported by the AR engine. And if we play this video, the guy will start dancing and his skeleton is being tracked. Pretty cool, huh? He's also a very good dancer. All right. What about the hand detection feature? No, not this one. I'm really sorry about that. Hand AR. This is the one I was looking for. Hey, everyone. This is my hand. As you can see, there are 21 joints being detected. Whenever you see a rectangle, is that it detected also a gesture. So in this case, this is a fist. This is a finger up. Maybe do this call me thing. You can detect that one as well. This is the hand detection. So then imagine that you could place 3D objects in your palm, for instance, or at the tip of your finger, or do things like that. Let me turn off the light. And finally, maybe one of the most amusing part of the AR engine in terms of body tracking is the face tracking feature. This is a mesh, so the collection of 3D points of my face. As you can see, it can detect mouth movement, also the eye, or maybe I could have more light towards, okay. Also the eyes closing, opening, all of that is properly detected. It can detect up to 64 expressions or emojis, we call them. You see some text in the upper part. Those are the expressions detected with a higher than 70% confidence, right? So if I do things with my eyes, you can see the text is changing like crazy because it's detecting various expressions regarding my eyes. Eyes are wide open, closed, eyebrow up, and things like that. But this mesh doesn't look so interesting. That's why I'm quickly gonna go to the camera app. And here we have this AR lens feature that allows you to have a very cool texture applied on the mesh. So this is using the AR engine. And I don't know, you can do all sorts of silly things playing with it. All right. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to switch back to the slides and get into part 3. Oh, I think it's much funnier like this than my normal face. And recap all these features that you just saw. Okay. All right. Let's see. Where is the slide? Just a second, guys. Just a tiny second. I'm not sure why these windows, sometimes they disappear, and now we're back. Okay, but I mistakenly started from the beginning, but we are at the quickly demo part. Okay, we were here. So how to have this immersive experience, right? How to have it, how to have the digital world, the digital content blended perfectly into the real world? Well, it relies on accurate tracking. Motion tracking and environment tracking, which is detecting the features, the objects, the planes, all that you saw, they are the foundation of all of that. That's true. But we at Huawei, we also believe that the body-related features into AR are a direction that's worth exploring and has huge potential to power some innovative ideas. And that's where you can step in and come up with very cool ideas and use these features to power your cool ideas. About the environment understanding, let's quickly look at what's possible. So light estimation, you saw the first one, the estimation of the pixel intensity, then that it was then applied to the 3D object, but it can also detect the color, the direction and intensity of the main light source. And for more sophisticated texture lighting stuff, you can also get the spherical harmonic coefficients. This is the example with that you just saw in the demo. Regarding plane detection and semantics, it can detect vertical and horizontal facing up and down, and supports semantics for wall, floor, ceiling, seat, table, door, window, and bed, and many more will be added in the future, like in this example. And image tracking was the part where I showed you the image on my laptop, and the AR engine was able to identify it. So you can have maybe an advertising panel outside the real world, and then with the AR engine you can identify that and show some relevant content, right? It can also do target or objects identification. 3 shapes are recognized so far: circle, rectangle, and cube. You saw them in the demo. Can recognize a table or a seat, and it's able to measure these objects and show a bounding box. And then in your app you can get the center pose, which pose means position and orientation. So it's this information is very useful for properly rendering the 3D objects. It can obtain the environment mesh, what we saw in the beginning with the matrix like green walls. And then you can apply your own textures and change the appearance of the real world. Then you saw the fact that I was able to perform a hit test, and the engine is able to send you back to give you a full list of all the planes and targets that intersect this perpendicular ray. They will be sorted in ascending distance. So you know that the first one that you get is actually the closest to you, and most of the time is the one you're interested in tapping or touching, right? Then what you can do with this, after you have this hit point properly identified, is you can add an anchor, is called, which means that the AR engine will then track this anchor in the real world, and always it will give you back the coordinates of the anchor. So then at this anchor you can then place your 3D object. So basically for rendering, what you do is you will get frames from the AR engine, this class called AR frame in the SDK. It will have all the needed information to configure an OpenGL context for rendering. Then you will basically draw the camera frame first, and then on top of it you can render all the custom 3D objects. Like in the demo we had this AR logo, this 3D logo that we placed on the floor. And then you can update the position of these objects based on the tracked anchors by the AR engine, and then you can render these objects. And then at this rendering point, you can also take into account the light information. Regarding the tracking of the human body, it can do skeleton recognition, 15 joints, and maximum 2 bodies at once. And it can detect 6 postures, more to come in the future. About the hand skeleton recognition, 21 joints, just 1 hand at once. And the Mate 20 is able to detect whether it's the left or right hand. And a total of 4 gestures for now, but this just started. Basically in the ML kit, which is another SDK we offer, we already support 8 gestures. So this will quickly evolve over time. Right. And face tracking. This is the face mesh, as you the mesh, the full mesh of the face. And of course, you can change the basic texture applies here with something more sophisticated. And those 64 emojis, and expressions that I mentioned, in the upper part here, I had 3 of them. The tongue was out and something with the eyes. So this is how it maps to. So we use this this chameleon in the documentation to illustrate exactly how what each of those emoji means. And you can use the light again to properly render this texture. There are, if you got bored with all of this, you can also use this health related features. It can detect the heart and respiratory rate. Might be useful. Okay, so these 2 codes, these 2 QR codes will take you to the official documentation of the AR engine. And the one to the right is basically the GitHub repo with the code that you just saw. So you can take a look, change parts of it, see what happens, or start a new app and develop it on top of that. Okay, this was part 3. So now we are at the questions and answers part. And please, let's keep in touch. If you want to talk more about the AR engine, or you realize you just have a question after this ends. So guys, please go ahead with questions. If anyone has a question. If there is no one looking for a question right now, then I can maybe go and look if there are some questions in the chat. Okay, so I have a question here. So I'm being asked by Liu if there is any API to the depth camera, such as returning raw depth pixel metrics. As far as I know, there isn't one, but this feature might. So this information is being fetched by the engine, but it's not. I don't think it's yet made available via the API that we're using. I'm not 100% sure. I will double check and came back to you with a definitive answer on this one. Okay, so the chat questions closed. Okay. All right, and then, okay, so basically no questions in the chat, but maybe you guys have questions that you want to ask out loud.
I guess we will have a Q&A session about 10 minutes, and we will, like, if there's any question, we will come back to it. But thanks, Adrian, for your presentation. It was very impressive, and you explained the concept in a very creative way. And for the next speaker, it's Anshi Seong. It's a campus requirement specialist at Huawei Finland Research Center. We will give a presentation about Huawei Finland internship program and 3D hackathon introduction. This talented internship program is one of insight and remote working opportunities. If it's gonna be long-term, like 6 months or 1 year, or a short-term for a summer internship between 2 to 3 months. So I'm gonna welcome Anshi to give this introduction about this opportunity.
Yes.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Thank you.
And I
Can
will
you hear me?
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, yes. Hi, and nice to meet you, all of you. My name is Anqi Xiang, and I would like to say very thank you for HSD to invite us to join this I would say webinar or technical communication, because I'm very surprised that many students and developers, we are getting together on a Saturday night, and we like to know more about the technical knowledges instead of like some maybe Halloween parties. So thank you for your time today. And let me introduce myself. My name is Anqi Xiang. I am now the campus recruitment specialist in the Finland Huawei Research Center. So we would like to introduce our research centers today and about our internship program, because I have heard from you that many students are very interested in our internship. And I heard that except for the Finnish students, I think there are also students from other countries, right, today?
Yes, we have all the multicultural environment.
Wow.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
all over the world.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So our internship program would also be hybrid. So we also have this remote working relationship internship. So yeah, and except for this, I will also introduce our hackathon competitions. That's also a very new announced competitions just now. So we will have this hackathon at the end of the November. So let me share my screen here. Let's see, is this one? Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, I think people are very familiar with, but I would like to speak again. Like Huawei is established in 1987, so you know that it's established in I think the first one is in Shenzhen of China, and then we have grown up very quickly, and now Huawei has been the first or one of the leading ICT infrastructure provider. So we have now more than 194,000 of employees in around the world, and we have locations in more than 170 countries. As you know, we have a lot of the invest in the research and development. So we have many people engaged in the R&D centers. So now we have 27 centers around the world, and I would say we are from one of them. So we are from Huawei Finland Research Centers. Just let you know that we have representative office and also research centers in Finland. The R&D centers in Finland is not very like so-called laboratory, but we want to dip very deeply into the technical part. So we invest a lot in the research and development centers. We have two research centers in Finland. One is in Helsinki, so that's the capital of Finland, and another is in Tampere. So the first Helsinki Research Center was established in 2012, and then in 2016 we have our Tampere Research Centers. They are also located in the various city center of the cities. So until now, we have more than 600 employees totally in Finland. And I would say because we would like to have emphasize like strong relationship with the universities. The idea is because we want to attract young talents to join us. Because if we just like young talents are our hope, I think, and employees, of course, they're important, but I would say we also do a lot to attract many young talents. So we have invested a lot about the graduate recruitment. So one is the internship. That's a big part of us. So this year we have 34 interns. Many of them are summer interns, and a lot of them are also, I know, they have long relationship with Huawei Finland, so they're working here as part-time and for 1 to 2 years. So that's normally the most longest internships, but that's also possible. And about the people, we have people from different countries, so it's a very diverse and international working environment. Yes, and then about the teams, if you are interested, I would say in the Helsinki and Tampere research centers, basically our teams are focused on the smart devices, from the phone to the tablet to the headset, and so we are focusing in all of the smart devices. So in the Helsinki Research Center, we have our software laboratory and also the security and cloud, and for example, antenna. We have these teams in Helsinki, and in Tampere Research Center, we mainly have the image and also the audio part. They are mainly in the Tampere Research Centers. Yeah, so then I can introduce you more about our internship. Basically, normal internships, it's more common, but we have our special internship program. So one of them is the competition talent program. So basically, if you are a student with the programming experience like ICPC or any Olympiad games, like math or physics, yeah, and chemistry and math. So if you have this experience, we would like to ask you to join us in the competition talent internship, because like Huawei has many cooperation with the competitions. So we think that we want to provide this platform and resources for the young talents, even though you don't have much experience, much more like and internship experience, but we want to provide you these resources, and we have very challenging but very interesting topics for you. So our competition talent internship would last from 6 months to 1 year. And some of them, for example, if we have a very special case for you, then you will solve this problem in 2 to 3 months. So basically, they will be in the summer internship would be 2 to 3 months, but most of them are long term, so 6 months to 1 year. They could be on site and they could be remotely, but I would say it depends on different teams' requirements. For example, some teams, they would like you to join them on site in the laboratory, but some, for example, for the computer vision and some positions, they can also work remotely. And the internship is paid. So if you know that Finland has the industry requirement about the salary, so we are following the TEK recommendation. So, and I would say Huawei will not go under that. And I can say the work tasks, they are versatile. And one point is that you could have very close cooperation with our teams. And we have many professors in the university. They also join us as part-time, like part-time experts in our teams. So that's also one chance for you to have a relationship with them, and also to see if they're, like personally, I would say it's a good chance to know some professors that would be also good for your study, like in the future, if you are interested in some topics and you would like to, for example, you want to go on your PhD study. Yes, here are some feedback from our interns. I would say they have very good feedback about the teams and also about the program. So we are working on to improve student environment, student like internship experience in our company, and many people have very good comments about the internship program. I would say some very touching point for me is that when I get contact with some students, and actually they just very young talents, and I know like ICT industry is so huge, and you are looking for what is the topics and what is the your main career in the future. Or if you, for example, you just study at university, you have some knowledges, but you don't know what the company is actually doing at this point. So I'm very touched when I saw they finished their internship and they give me some feedback and saying that I'm very happy you give me this chance, because it's a good chance for them to find out what is the main interest for them. And some of them also find their like what they want to do in the future. So that's also a touching point for me. Yes. I have provided some internship positions here, but there are some of them, they're not all. But basically, you can see if you are interested in computer vision or machine learning, that's the most popular topics maybe until now. So we have these positions in the cloud team and in the camera and audio team, because that's more applied both for them. And for the security, they have some cybersecurity. So if you have some experience and you will have quite good positions there. But if you just have the interest and you're not very familiar with the actual security part, that they also have some junior positions there. Let's see, audio, camera, yeah, and we also have some hardware positions. And the software, they are having computer graphics research and AI security. That's also one in the security and in the cloud team. Yes, so we have these positions open, but actually you cannot find them in our career site because they are in the special competition talent program. So what we do is that actually we post this in the LinkedIn and you can apply. or you can just contact me and I will have a first talk with you to see your talent, your experience, and I will help you to match with our team. But I will show you our career site and other way to approach us later. Yeah, so my second topic is our hackathon. So I think now it's a very good time for us because actually every year we have this hackathon, but because of the COVID, like for over 2 years, we just have the online hackathon and didn't have chance to see people here. But this year, our hackathon on site comes back again. So this year, our topic is about the 3D avatar design. I can introduce you about more details about the challenge, the topics later, but basically it is the on-site hackathon in Helsinki in November 23rd to 25th, and we have quite high price pool if you are interested. And then we offer you all of the accommodation and catering in the hotel for these 3 days. And all of our joiners can get one gift package from Huawei. And most of them, like the winning teams, they could have the chance to directly go to the final interview for our internship next year. So here are the topics if you are interested in the 3D avatar design. So basically your challenge is to create wallpaper effects using our 3D avatar and also based on our assets and the graphics engine. What you should output is that a complete 3D wallpaper application. Like you need to realize these features. One is to render the wallpaper background and then to render various effects in different areas of the wallpaper, and then render a 3D avatar model with hair and clothing, and to perform different actions. Let's see, the potential solution examples is this application can be run on Windows. So, and then we have some evaluation criteria here. I have a QR code here, so if you are interested, you can scan this QR code. There are more detailed information about the hackathon, about the challenges, the topics itself, and what you should input, like what we offer you. I think we would offer the SDK from Huawei and what you need to prepare for the hardware and software part, and what is the output required. So I will give you time if you want to scan here, or you can just quickly search this Huawei Tech Arena Finland in Ultra Hack. Yep. So here is the growth schedule. So it's not that very clear, but it's like the growth schedule. We will have our online webinar next week. If you are interested, then you can register. You can scan the QR code here and then register our online webinar. Our mentors and our judges would be there. So they are all graphics engineer in the OS team in Huawei Finland Research Centers, and they are also graphics experts. They will tell you more details about the hackathon challenges and what is the background and what we expect you to achieve in this hackathon. So this hackathon would be, the deadline for registration would be end on 14th of November. So after that, we will choose some of the teams. So basically we will choose 10 to 13 teams to join the final hackathon on site. And then on November 18, you can have the chance to meet the mentors online. And then we will have our 48 hours hackathon. So about the on-site hackathon arrangements, you can see basically the schedules here. So our requirement is that you set a team with 2 to 5 persons. So basically just one person is representing the team would be there at each checkpoint. So we will have a first checkpoint on the first day, and the hackathon would start at 6, 7 o'clock. Yeah. And because it's 84 hours, so basically you will have the chance to, if you would like to do the hackathon overnight, that's also possible. Yes, and then we will have the checkpoint, the second checkpoint on 24th, and then we will we will give you some pitching training about how to do the pitching on the final presentation. And then we will have the checkpoint, the third checkpoint at 6 o'clock in the evening. So basically, the challenges you have to submit at the end of the 24th. And from 25th, they are just the draft briefing and pitching and also the ceremony. All right. Yes, that's the information I can provide. So if you are interested, you can also contact me. Here is my email address. You can also search me on LinkedIn. And here is our career website for the Huawei Finland Research Centers. We will have all of our positions open on this website. So basically not just the graduate or junior positions. We will also have all the positions there. So feel free to check. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask anytime. And yeah, you're welcome to contact me anytime also. Thank you.
Thank you, Anxi, for presenting this opportunity. And please don't hesitate to reach out to her if there's any questions. We are happy to help. And for now, I'm gonna welcome Christoph. Everyone is welcomed also to Huawei developer community and ask us in person. We have official forum website and okay, I'm talking, you can hear me. Official website and Discord channel to answer all kind of technical questions, as well as share inspiration use events. So I'm gonna welcome Christoph from forum team to introduce Huawei developer community.
Hello, hello. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. My name is Krzysztof Stefanov, and I am a business operations specialist and I am working at Huawei with main focus on developer community forum as a forum moderator in European zone. What is Huawei developer community? We are covering 24 hours a day and supporting over 5.4 million developers in 170 countries. Here you can connect with your fellow developers, Huawei experts, and ask any questions if you have any problems. You can also write articles and learn from others and grow. You can also check the latest content shared by Huawei developers, Huawei experts, and our freelance developers. Here you can also get more experience and exchange your knowledge. We are also sharing on our developer community forum latest industry trends and news about our technology. The next part of this presentation is about Huawei developer community Discord. Discord is a way to talk over voice, video, and text. Talk, chat, and hang out and stay close with the community that we have created just for you. This is a streamlined communication, one-stop shop for all your Huawei needs. Here you can also share your knowledge. You can also share your problems. We are also share here information about latest events and news. So if you want to be part of our Discord, or if you want to be a part of our Huawei developer community, so you are just welcome to share your ask your questions. So we will be able to help you. So this is actually from my side. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Christoph.